Hi everybody, I'm Lindsay from the Ashland Public Library, and I am here today to make a fun 3D project with you, a little sculpture of a hedgehog for our Europe Artsy animals. Hopefully you've been tracking along with us all summer with our Tails and Tales programming. If you were able to get a hold of one of our activity bags this week, you will find the supplies for this project in the bag. They're going to look like this with a little label that says Artsy Animals. There's a cup that has some sunflower seeds in it. And there is a little packet of clay. It might be a little silver packet or it might be a little cup just like your sunflower seeds. And then there's going to be some little black balls. Those are peppercorns in there. You should have more than you need of those and of the seeds as well. If you weren't able to pick up a bag, these should be some fairly easy things for you to get a hold of in your house. If you don't have bird seed or sunflower seeds of some sort, think about other things that you could use. This is a hedgehog, so it just needs to be something pointy. So you could maybe find some sticks in your yard, or maybe some different types of seeds. Maybe you've got something in your kitchen that would work. Check with mom or dad, your adult, and see if there's something that you could use in place of these sunflower seeds. But you should be able to find most of these things in your house, okay? So we're gonna get started with our hedgehog today. I wanna show you my little hedgehog. I named him Percy. Isn't he cute? You can kind of see where all the parts that you have in your bag come together here. All right, so if you joined us earlier this summer, Jessica did some artsy animals with you. She did some pinch pot animals and she used air dry clay. So that's what we're using today. All right, it should be, if you open up your silver packet, or you just have this in a cup, but it's just gonna be a little white piece of clay. And if you weren't able to get a packet, you can use Play-Doh, or maybe you have some modeling clay at home, or maybe you have some air dry clay. Go ahead and grab that. So I'm just working this in my hands to get it nice and warm so that it just molds and is pliable and will go together nicely for us. And once it starts to get kind of warm in your hands, you're going to want to make a ball, okay? So this is just like you would make a ball if you were playing with your Play-Doh or whatever. You just kind of roll it between your hands until it gets nice and round, okay? This is a little bit different than Jessica's pinch pot animals because we're not going to make a pot. So we're not going to have a hole like she pushed a little indentation into her animals. We're not going to have that on this one. But you'll see that we use some very similar techniques. All right, so I've got a nice little ball there, you can see. And I'm just going to go around and I'm going to kind of smooth out some of the wrinkles and the cracks and those things so I've got a nicer surface to work with. Because those things, when this dries, they're going to show. So we want to just kind of make it as nice as we can. All right. So you notice that my friend Percy, he wasn't a complete circle, was he? He has a little bit of a snout there. So to do that, we're going to pinch a little, just like you did with your pinch pots, okay? We're going to take our fingers on one end, and we're just going to kind of pinch. See how it starts to come into a point? We're going to pinch that part until we get a nice pointy nose. All right, and then once you get a nice, decent little point that you like, that looks like a good snout for your hedgehog, we're going to smooth it out just like we did when we made the ball. We're going to get rid of all the little wrinkles and cracks and those things, and you can just do that with your finger very simply. All right, that's going to just help make it look nice when it's finished. Okay. All right, so you see I've got the basic shape. This is going to be the hedgehog body, and this is going to be kind of his snout and his nose. So he looks like a raindrop if you put him this way. Looks like an ice cream cone this way. See that? All right, but he's going to go this way. So since we want our hedgehog to sit this way, we're going to put him down on our table, and we're just going to push just a little bit to flatten the bottom of our ball, and just kind of shape it as you're pushing down so that you don't You don't want a smooshed hedgehog, but you want him to have a flat bottom. So can you see there that I made the bottom of that flat so that when he's finished, I can sit him on my shelf and he's not going to roll all around, okay? All right, so now we've got his snout. We've got a bottom built out here so that he can sit nicely. And I'm going to put 2 little indentations in just above his snout for his eyes, okay? So I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to push ever so lightly. All right, and you see what that did there? It made just a little indentation. And I'm going to do that again right next to it because the hedgehog's got 2 eyes. Okay, and you see we've got 2 little hollows there for his eyes. All right, so now here comes the fun part. All right, we get to add on to our little hedgehog. I've got a little crack here. I'm going to try and correct real quick. So I don't want that there right on his snout. Smooth him out. All right, this is a process, so we're not in any big hurry. We want to get it just right. You don't want our hedgehog to have a bunch of wrinkles. Okay, all right. So I'm going to put his nose on next, all right? So I have a peppercorn, one of these little black balls. This is what they make pepper out of. So if you have a salt and pepper shaker on your table, they grind up these peppercorns and that makes pepper. All right, so these might make you sneeze, so be careful. They made me sneeze when I was putting these packets together for you. So I'm going to take that peppercorn, I'm going to put it right on the end of his nose, and I'm going to push it in there so it sticks, okay? And you see, now he's got a nice little nose. All right? And then we're going to take 2 more peppercorns, one at a time, and we're going to put them in those little hollows that we made for his eyes. All right, there's his first eye. Here comes his second. All right. I'll just keep kind of shaping him up as we go into a shape that I like. All right. Okay. So there we've got both of his eyes and his nose. So now comes the fun part. We're going to take our sunflower seeds and we're going to make the quills for the hedgehog. All right. So we have sunflower seed is kind of a teardrop shape, just like we made our hedgehog. It's rounder on the bottom and it's pointy on the top. And we know that hedgehog quills are sharp, aren't they? Because that's their defense mechanism if they have run into a predator or something. So we want the sharp end to be pointing up. So that means we're going to push the round end down into the clay of the hedgehog. And I'm going to start right in the middle of his forehead with my first one. Right now he looks more like a unicorn, doesn't he? And we're going to start building out with these sunflower seeds, just a nice round frame around his face. It takes a little bit of time and arranging to get these in here just right. You'll notice that on mine, see how I'm starting to frame out his face there? I've got my quills, I put them at kind of an angle so that they're angled back. Like he's just chilling in the garden. If you wanted to, you could make yours sticking straight up like he's on alert or something, all right? It's up to you, however you want to do it, because this is your hedgehog. So I'm going to keep doing this until I frame his face out, just in a nice, kind of a semicircle shape around the face. All right, I'm going to put another one on there, I think. Fill him out a little bit more. So the more spiny things, the more he's going to look like a hedgehog. All right, so you see I've got all of his first row of spines. We're just going to keep building on this, all right? So we're going to add spines all the way back to his little porcupine hedgehog bottom. So I'm going to go right behind that row that I just made, and I'm going to put more quills in. I'm going to keep putting them at that angle back because that's the way I like it. But if you want them sticking straight up, you do it that way. You do you. This is your project. All right, and we're just going to keep building all the way back, row after row. All right, I'll show you my finished one here so you can kind of see what that's going to look like, all right? So you don't have to wait for me, but you can see that we build it all the way back to his little hind end, where I kind of made them go in a little bit of a circle and pointing into a tail. I thought it looked like a tail. But however you want to do it is fine. So this is my little hedgehog, my little air dry clay hedgehog. Since this is air dry clay, if you leave it out, it's going to dry, all right? So if you want to keep this and put it on your shelf or whatever, or give it as a gift, you want to leave that sit out in the air for about 2 or 3 days, and that clay will get nice and hard, okay? Now you may find that once your clay is dry, that your quills and your eyes or your nose, they want to fall out. They might not stick anymore. And if that's the case, it's okay to use a little bit of glue, all right? You can get an adult to help you use some hot glue to keep those in, or you can use just a little bit of school glue. That should work too. And that'll help just keep those in there solid if they're a little bit loose. Another thing that you can do after your clay dries, if you want to, is you can paint it or you can color it with markers. So like Jessica said previously this summer, I wouldn't use watercolor paint because adding too much water to the clay is going to make it soft. And you don't want to make it soft. You want it to stay nice and hard like a sculpture that you can display. So use like tempera or acrylic paint, that sort of thing should be okay. Or you can just use a marker and just color. You can add a little face if you want to give them a little smile. If you want your hedgehog to be purple, you can make it purple, whatever you like. So that is our air dry clay hedgehog. I hope you had fun making it. If you don't want to make a hedgehog, what other things do you think you could make with these supplies? I thought it would be kind of fun to use these seeds like bird feathers and make a bird. I could just see those layered up like feathers. I thought that would be really neat. But maybe you have some creative ideas too. So I would love to see what you made. If you would like to have your grown-up take a picture and share it on our Facebook page, just post that below. We would love to see what you've done for this project. And if you haven't already signed up for summer reading, it's not too late. Even though summer is winding down, we can still take you in the summer reading program. You can read and win prizes, and there's still a lot of fun left. So I hope that you'll join us for the rest of the summer reading program and programs here for, there's a few more Artsy Animals programs if you had fun with that, and there's all kinds of other things. So check us out, and thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye.